Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Pumped up, excited. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We have here in the house, on the show, on the podcast, in the movie dojo, Dan Mumford. Brother, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you for, again, like I was saying earlier, thank you again for stopping by and hanging out with us on the Movie Dojo podcast. Getting away
great.
from your busy schedule. Did I say it right? Schedule?
Yes, very good, very
All
good.
right. I feel proper. I feel proper now. But yeah, all the way based in the UK over there, Mr. Dan Mumford hanging out with us today. It is an honor. I am a fan of art, and I couldn't draw anything to save my life. He put me in a movie. Like, Preston, you must draw this, or you will die. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it in the movie.
Fair.
But yeah, congratulations on your success, by the way.
Thank you.
You have like over 102,000 subscribers. I mean, Instagram followers.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy moly. And it's funny because before I even reached out to you, I was like already a fan and I didn't even know it. And we'll talk about, I already had a few stuff. I didn't know it was you at first. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is some Dan Mumford. Holy moly.
That happens quite a lot, actually. I've heard from a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
But mainly because I used to do like metal band and hardcore punk t-shirts. And people would be like, oh, you did that. And it's like, yeah, like 12 years ago. Happens all the time.
Yeah. But I was just like, wow, how cool is that? I was like, I got some Mumford merch. I didn't even know about it. But let's see who is here. We got the Movie Dojo Army slowly showing up today. We got the furry fat dude in the house. He says, woohoo. He's very excited that you're here. We got Lady Danish. Here we go. Dan Mumford rocks. That's right.
Hey, everyone.
Eric Plantier in the house. That's right. We got Kevin Lambert. We got a lot here. And we got Lady Danish. I already read the name. All right. So, yes, it's always fun to have special guests here in the Movie Dojo. And so let's get ready to talk about your career. I have the legend here himself. So how did you get into drawing and art? How did that work out for you? What was some of your inspirations to start drawing and doing all that stuff?
Sure. Well, I mean, genuinely, it's right there. It's all comic books.
Nice.
So like, this is a very small portion of my comic books.
Right.
I've got them like on lots of shelves all around. But
okay.
Basically, when I was really young, it was all about. I mean, originally it was things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics and stuff like that, which then went into like Marvel and DC stuff as I got more into my teenage years.
Yes.
And that is really what got me initially excited about art, because I was just recreating the characters, like drawing my favorite X-Men or whatever.
Yeah.
And that kind of I don't know, that sort of like built a love of art, and I don't think I realized it at the time. I had no idea what I was doing necessarily, but it just sort of became the thing where that was kind of the only thing I was good at school.
Right.
Just art mainly, and a bit of literature. I like to draw, to write stories as well. So I think I was always going to do something creative in a way. It was just not set in stone what path that was going to be.
Right.
But yeah, like I think if you look at my work, you can kind of see that it stems from comic art to an extent, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the starting point, really, man. That's definitely the genesis of who I am now and what I do. It was a long path to get there, but that's pretty much where it started, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. In the opposite direction, me growing up, big comic book fan as well. I mean, obviously, I got
Yeah,
shirt,
yeah,
I got boxes of comics in the garage somewhere.
yeah.
But me, I had to use the tracing paper because I'm horrible. So,
I mean, look,
Dad, look
don't
what
get me
I
wrong.
did. Look what I did,
I
Dad. I totally
I
cheated.
definitely I definitely did that
You did
sometimes. I can
that.
tell you that for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's kind of how you learn, right? Like you learn initially by sort of copying, essentially,
Right,
especially when you're really young, and then it just sort of develops from there a bit. Yeah,
right, right, right. But yeah, like it is an awesome thing. We love awesome comic books. We love it. Are you a
yeah.
big fan of the films as well?
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, like I'd say right now I'm living. It's weird. Like I think right now film for me is super exciting because
Nice.
it's my childhood come to life.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I actually feel quite. I think if I was a kid, I'd be losing my mind over
Right.
it. If I was a comic book fan and these films were coming out, but as an adult, it's one of those things where I can really truly enjoy it because it gets the nostalgia hits. You're seeing these things and these storylines come to life that you liked as a kid.
Yeah.
Um, and also to an extent, I've got the money that I can sort of be like, yeah, we're going to go see that in the cinema again in
Right.
IMAX
Right.
or whatever. Um,
Right.
or I'm gonna own it at home on Blu-ray, yeah, all this sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So right now it is very much like I feel like a sort of comic book nirvana in a way for me. Um,
Well, yeah, the superhero genre has kind of taken over.
yeah,
They've kind of replaced action busters of the past.
yeah,
They are the action summer blockbusters now.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
it's
in
it's
a
like
way.
100%. It's a genre within its own now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm all here for it. Like there's very little within it that I don't enjoy.
Right.
I can kind of find something exciting within the worst superhero film, if you know what I mean. Uh, I'm maybe the only one I really would struggle with was that Fantastic Four reboot. That was,
Fan four stick. Yeah.
yeah, whatever it
Yeah.
was. That was. But you know what? I have every belief that the studio did screw that film
They
up a
did.
bit.
No, they
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
They
yeah.
totally did.
Um,
I feel sorry for the director,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, totally.
it was pretty bad. Like what
Yeah,
happened? I remember being in the theater watching Fan Four Stick,
yes,
and I turned to my wife, Lady Fat. We call her Lady Fat Blood here on the channel because she it's based off of Lady Snowblood, but she I turned to her and I was like, oh my god, this is the finale now, isn't it? Like I was
yeah,
like, wow, this is like the
yeah,
end of this is the end action sequence. Like this is the end of the movie. Oh no,
yeah.
oh no. You
Yes,
could
poor,
tell it's
very poor.
yeah, and you could tell
But
like the actress that played Invisible
oh,
Woman.
the wig.
Yeah, she had a different wig later. I mean, it was
Oh, so
all
poor.
a mess. It's
I mean,
unfortunate,
it,
you
it's
know.
it is interesting to talk about that film right now, actually, because obviously Justice League got its Snyder cut finally, and
Yeah,
I
what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was great.
Right?
I thought
It was
I thought it was really good. Like
yeah,
if you compare the two films, they're completely different. And whether you like Zack Snyder as a director and the films he makes,
right.
he made a good Zack Snyder film,
He
if you know
did.
what I mean.
Yeah.
And it was coherent. It had a good narrative arc and structure to it. And man, the ending, like I thought, was really emotional with Flash doing all the saving the world stuff and
Yeah.
just amazing, man. Like,
Yeah.
but
No, go ahead.
imagine what the Fantastic Four film
Yeah.
might have been,
Might
and
have been, right?
you sort of go, okay, I really can see how studios can totally screw things up.
Right, right?
Yeah,
Oh, it's yeah. Well,
yeah,
look at not just was it Josh Trank? I think that was his name, the
yeah.
director
That's
of.
it. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, well, not just him. Look at Zack Snyder.
yeah,
I mean, he had a
yeah,
tragedy
yeah,
in the family. He had to take a break, and they're like, "Well, we can't wait for you. Just go ahead and just do what we need to do, and
yeah,
bring in another." And it completely destroys Zack
yeah,
Snyder's version.
yeah,
Completely
yeah.
demolishes the theatrical version.
I,
you
I
know.
think, I think actually, the whole process in those 4 years between the original Justice League and the new one
Yeah.
can and will be used in like film studies to an extent to sort of show you how differently things can happen
Right.
just in the way you cut it and edit it and add effects and stuff. And maybe we got something good out of that
Yeah,
for people. I don't know. I mean, I
yeah.
just enjoyed it as a
I
film.
enjoyed
But
it. I mean, it was definitely an improvement, and it
yeah,
was a lot more entertaining and well done
yeah,
movie.
man, 100
But
percent.
yeah, so how long has it been since you've been a professional artist and you got your work out there? How many years has it been now?
Um, so I did the pretty standard. Well, I guess for you guys, I did high school and then I went to university.
Right.
Um, and so it's the pretty sort of standard route. And I did art at university. It was an illustration course, so
Mm-hmm.
that's really vague. Like it really was the most sort of vague course ever. I could do anything. I could make film. I could do paintings. I could do drawings.
Right. Right.
So I kind of explored a lot of stuff there, and I graduated there in 2007. So it's kind of crazy to say that. That means I've been out of university for 14 years now.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
and nearly that whole time I've been essentially doing what I do now.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
I haven't had any other jobs. I've been a freelance illustrator that whole time. But within that realm, I've been doing different sorts of illustration.
Right.
And the movie poster sort of side of things has only been about 7 years, maybe, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's 7 years. That's a long time.
yeah. So I guess it's kind of half and half.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
movie posters is kind of what I'm known for now, I think.
Well, I mean, that's what made me a fan. I was just,
Sure.
it was like I said, I actually own the steel book. Let's take a look at some of your artwork here. So I
Yeah, yeah,
actually
go for it.
have this steel book, uh, both steel books of the Ghostbusters movies.
Mm,
Hold on, I'm just trying to bring it up here.
that was a fun one. I
Yeah,
can't remember
so
what that was for. I think it was Target exclusive or something, something like
I think
that.
it was at Best Buy.
Best Buy. Okay.
I think so. Um, I thought I had it here, but it's okay. We'll just move on. But yeah, the those steelbooks I bought both of them mainly for the artwork.
Awesome. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I already had the movies on Blu-ray already,
Sure.
and I love the first Ghostbusters movie so much. I was just like, all right, screw it. And the second one's fun for what it is, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was like, man, look at this artwork. I was like, holy crap! I was like, I took photos of it at Best Buy. I sent it around. I was like to my buddies. I was like, dude, you
It's
see
awesome.
this? This is like
Yeah.
really good. And I bought both of them. Little did I know, I had some Mumford merch. Yes, yes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I got a whole
They were
bunch.
fun, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a whole lot of your artwork here.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and I'll just click on some of my favorite pieces. Plus, I wanted to display it here live for the
Yeah,
audience and
cool, man.
whoever watches this video. Trying to get the word out that you're badass. So we got to get this going. But yeah, by all means, jump in whenever and say, like, how long did it take for this, or if there was any what was really difficult about this piece, and
Yeah,
we'll go
sure.
from there. So again, back to the comic book stuff here. Here we go. Boom.
Avengers Duo. Yeah.
Look
I
at
mean
that.
that's I haven't done too much stuff for Marvel. I've done a few. I've done a few Marvel prints, but those are probably the ones I'm most proud of, actually,
Yeah.
because they really do work as like a pair. Um, they've got the same sort of shaping to them, and we've got Thanos in the middle there with the
Yeah.
heroes around him, and I put a lot of time into those ones, actually, um,
Yeah. They're both
because I just love
successful
the
films.
films. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love the films, man.
Infinity War is amazing, and Endgame was a
Yeah,
great, great ending. But I love how you got the big three there surrounding Thanos and Endgame there. I love
yeah. I
that.
mean, how could I not do that moment? Like for me, it's always important to pick out a pivotal scene,
Yeah.
a pivotal moment, something that fans are going to go like, that's something that I want on my wall, or that's something that I look back at and go, that was the moment in the film that was
Yeah.
amazing. Um,
Right.
and it can be tough, actually, especially with a film like Avengers.
Yeah.
I was lucky in that I produced those posters very soon after the films came out, so there wasn't that much artwork out there for it, at least not in an official capacity. Um,
Right.
but when you're doing something for, let's say, a Star Wars film, one of the older ones, man, there are so many posters for Star Wars now that to do something original and new is really hard. And
Yeah.
I never want to sort of do something that's too similar to someone that's already done.
Right, right, right.
Like, that scene that I've chosen, I'm sure that other people have also done it as well now since in a poster. Um, but it can be hard to find some like a unique take on a film sometimes when it's a
Yeah.
retro film.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but I was
But
lucky with
yeah,
the Avengers ones because they're so new.
yeah, yeah. But those are two beautiful pieces, man. Those are
Thank
really,
you,
really
thank you.
good. But what's interesting is, I would collect, look behind me. I got movie posters up here, the classic
Mm,
ones. And there's something about, being an 80s kid and growing up, there's something about the posters and the artworks of the 80s.
yeah,
A lot of it is almost looks like paintings. Like
yeah,
it's so interesting. And a lot of, I mean, let's be honest here, a lot of posters, movie posters now are very generic. They're very
hmm,
stock. They're very
yeah,
vanilla. Very vanilla. They don't scream out. And it's funny because I just buy posters of movies I like. But my wife is more like, no, I don't want that because it looks like your traditional formulaic looking poster. I
sure.
want something that's different, something that's just like mostly just art
Hmm, hmm.
and not necessarily like let's just throw all the actors in there, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
art piece of the movie. It has the title on it. That's cool too. But if it doesn't have the title, that's even better because
yeah,
now it stands out even more as art. And
yeah.
I see that a lot with your work. So now that she's got me on board of liking the posters how she
Mhm.
likes it now, I'm like, you know what, you're right. That is cooler.
Yeah, yeah.
Your work kind of comes across to me that way, similar to where I'm appreciating just the art of it,
Mm,
and
mm.
it's just you don't need Tom Holland's face in the poster. Like you don't need all, you know what I mean? Like it's just generic.
Yeah,
It's not generic in stock. Your artwork is art. Like it's just a
thank
piece
you. Yeah,
sometimes, and it's just like I kind of prefer that more, than your
yeah.
usual traditional posters, right? Like we
I
got
mean,
right
if
here.
yeah, I
Look at
mean that's a good example. Yeah, yeah.
look at this. This is amazing. We got Batman
Thank
Begins
you.
here and the Dark Knight here, and I saw your Dark Knight Rises one, which is really great
Yes,
too.
that one too.
But
I mean,
this captivates the imagination.
for me, it's about making a scene,
Yes.
creating a scene. Uh, I'm not really interested in showing you Christian Bale's face,
Right.
Heath Ledger, or any of the other characters, because there's a lot of other movie poster artists out there that can do that really well.
Right.
And I'm not really interested in that because, well, there's two reasons. Firstly, it doesn't excite me, but secondly, I'm not particularly good at character artwork, like based on faces and features and stuff. Like I
Right.
can do it if I need to, but
Yeah.
I'm about landscapes and scenery and creating that moment. So if you look at nearly every poster I do, it's going to be one shot. It's not going to be a montage of something. It's not going to be bits all over the place, because that's just not me. I'm not really
Yeah.
interested in that. Um,
Yeah.
I like to tell a story essentially with that
That's
piece of artwork.
there it is. I think you nailed it. That's the thing. You're telling a story within the
Yeah,
poster, And look, I mean, the Batman Begins one is beautiful. Look at, got all the ninjas in the background. Look at all that. You got it. But the thing is like you have to look for them.
yeah.
Like it's
Is
so
it
interesting.
with this sort of stuff? Also, it's so nearly all of these posters are done through galleries or license holders that
Yeah.
are working with the studios, but the alternative movie posters. These are not the ones you're going to see in the cinema or use to advertise it. Not most of the time. Sometimes, very rarely, that does happen. Um, and I got to do some Star Wars posters that were used as like promo for the newer films,
Right.
but that's a rare thing. So nearly always these things are done retroactively, like for films that came out 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And because of that, I think the studios, they're very much more open to going, you want to do a scene with Bruce and ninjas. It's not very Batman, but who cares? The film came out 10 years ago. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
get away
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got
And then that's for the people like me and you and the people that are fans of that. They want
right.
that. They don't really necessarily need another poster of Batman looking broody on a rooftop, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So
It's just like man, I came across that Batman Begins and I was like, holy crap.
I haven't seen
Um,
anyone else really do that with the ninjas.
no,
Not properly, but
no, no.
maybe they have. I don't know.
But yeah, it's just really badass. But here, now you're speaking my language now. Now you're getting to some of
Yeah.
my favorite movies now.
Yeah, same here.
Like look at this, Big Trouble in Little China. Look at that. Look at that,
Yeah,
chat.
Kurt
An
in his
Escape
prime.
from New York, man.
Yeah,
But again, you're telling story within the poster, and Kurt Russell and Snake Plissken there at the top. He's not, you have to look for him.
yeah,
You know what I mean? In a way, but it's
yeah, yeah.
awesome like that though. Like these are amazing set pieces. Like
I mean, the escape the escape one is quite interesting because everyone knows the Statue of Liberty, like the head, the fallen head, as being a really iconic image for that film, right?
yeah, yeah,
But it's not really in the film. Like there is no moment when, as far as I can remember, I don't think there's really a moment when Snake's by the head or anything.
right.
And
No, I
so
don't. I can't remember that either.
yeah, like I'm pretty much sure it was just for the posters because it's such a iconic sort of looking thing. And so when it came to doing this, it was like I really like to be as precise as I can to the film in that it is actually a moment in the film.
Right.
Not like it's my own take on that moment. But with this, I was sort of like, yeah, but you got to have the head of the Statue of Liberty. You have to. It's
Yeah.
so like synonymous with that film and the
Right.
posters and iconography around it.
Yeah.
And then with Big Trouble in Little China, like that final scene is just it's one of the best things I've ever seen. Like as
Yeah.
a kid, I was like, this is amazing. As an adult, I still think it's amazing, and
Oh.
it gets me every time, man. It's so good.
Oh, I agree. I got Big Trouble in Little China Funko Pops. Like it's literally one of my favorite movies of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I gotta support some Jack Burton, man. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? I am still slightly bitter they never did more with him and that character. Like I know they did a comic book sort of follow up, but I don't think it was. I think it was a
Yeah.
bit bad.
Well, the latest thing rumor going around is they still want to do some kind of remake reboot, and I'm just like, oh, some things you need to leave alone.
I would be okay with them doing a follow up with Kurt Russell as a grizzled old Jack Burton because
I'm
he
for
still
that.
does it. He still does it for me, man. Like
That now that's a good idea. That's
Yeah.
a good idea. I think that I don't know. Is the
he'd
comic
be
book
up for it, I'm
called?
sure.
Is the comic book like Old Man Jack or something? I forgot the name of the comic, but I know
I
he's.
can't remember
I
now.
think in the comic book now he is older, so
Right.
that idea could work, like you said. But they're not going to do that because they want to market some young cat. You know how Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is.
The thing is, I think remaking Big Trouble in Little China would 100% lose the point because it is that 80s vibe.
Right.
And when you're recreating that 80s vibe, like they do with Stranger Things or something,
Right.
like it's okay and it still works to an extent, but there's something cheap and dirty about Big Trouble. Like,
Yeah.
even though it's not a cheap film by any means, it still feels that way. It feels real because it was made in the 80s, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's where movies are badass. That's right. Where they kick
Yeah.
ass. But yeah, two great pieces.
Thank
as
you.
well as I know right now my buddy Jamie Powell. He's also from the UK and he has a YouTube channel. Shout out to Jamie Powell in the chat, but he's gonna go crazy now because he's a huge. I mean, as well as I am. I'm huge too, like Ninja Turtles fan. So
Yeah.
there you go,
100%.
Jamie. Jamie's probably ordering this right now on your website.
I mean, the Turtles were my guys when I was a
Yeah.
kid. Like 100% my favorite cartoon. And the films, I was really young when the first film came out.
Yeah.
I think maybe seven, and it was actually the very first film I went to the cinema to see with my dad. And
oh wow, that was the same
so-
with him too, Jamie.
Yeah.
That was the same
Like,
thing. His first movie.
It has, I think, because it was so for kids of that era. Like it really, you were so enamored with it. And even though
Right.
the film is quite, it's quite gritty.
Yeah.
It's still a very fun film.
Oh, the first movie is still the best in my opinion in terms of live action.
I really liked it.
adaptations. But
And actually, when it comes to Turtles,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say we teased this I think a week ago on my Instagram. I have something new coming out. Maybe.
Ooh, yes.
with
Oh,
them. So
nice.
keep an eye out for that. There's a couple of little teasers of what's coming up on my Instagram already.
All right. So again, chat Movie Dojo Army in the description box below of this video. I did put Dan's Instagram page. Make sure you guys follow it. and as well as his website where you can buy his merch. But yeah, look at I love the long shot of Shredder in the background of each of
Yeah,
these posters. That is just brilliant. Like, and
I
again,
mean,
telling a story, like you said.
right. That's 100% what it is. It's about putting little things in there, and I do that a lot in my pieces. If it's something with background, foreground, there'll nearly always be someone or something in the background. Like it'll be. I mean, actually, if you the Batman Begins one that we showed at the start, I don't know if you noticed, but there's the little silhouette very in the middle, and that's Liam Neeson's character, Deckard. Because
Oh, oh wow,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I see it
you
now.
wouldn't really think about it until you see it, but
Yeah,
he's just it's a very nonchalant guy, and it's not clear that that's who it is, but that's who it is.
that's who it is.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and so I do that nearly all the time.
that's
Just little
awesome.
things, just little
Yeah,
things.
it's one again. It's like you said, you're telling a story within your work, but it's also probably one of those. Hey, I didn't notice that before. That's awesome. You know.
Yeah, I a lot of people tell me like they've had something on the wall for a month, and then they'll go, "Oh wait, is that character from later on in the film, or is that what's this number? Is that number something?" I mean, I always there's always numbers somewhere in my pieces
Yeah,
as well, and
yeah,
that's normally the release date of the film or
yeah.
something like that as well.
Right.
So it's
Nice.
just little things, man. I
Yeah.
think
Mm-hmm.
people pick up on that stuff.
Yeah. Let's keep it rocking and rolling here. Now you got my boy Arnold here, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got Arnold here. One of my favorite movies, Conan the Barbarian. Love
yeah,
it.
great film.
That piece with we got Thulsa Doom in the background. That is just brilliant. I love it. And
Thanks, man.
I lost my mind when a buddy of mine who's also a fan of yours, who actually buys your merchandise as well. He's losing his mind that we're talking right now. My buddy of mine's like, "What? You have Dan on your show? Oh my god!" He collects art prints and posters all the time, and he was losing his mind with the Running Man poster. That is gorgeous. That is
How many posters are there for the Running Man? Probably not
right,
that many.
right. That
Yeah,
is gorgeous. And he sent
thank
that
you.
to me. He's like, "Dude, this is coming out soon." I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, that would be. I would if that was on a T-shirt, I'd buy it. Like literally, I'd
Yeah,
buy it.
and it would work quite well actually because it's got the black edging around it anyway, so it would
Yeah,
fit really
yeah.
nicely.
But those
I
two
mean,
pieces,
the
man.
Running Man is very much one of those films that was part of it was the Arnold era where he was in a lot of stuff. But
Right.
as a kid, that was me making my way through all of his films that was sort of coming out when I was very young.
Yeah.
But also, my dad was sort of like, "Yeah, okay, you can watch that film now." Um, and I don't think he should
Yeah.
have let me watch some of these films because they were violent, man.
Hey,
Um,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I was like banished until I got super older, unfortunately.
but the
Um,
Running Man is just such a weird film. It's also one I'm sure they'll remake at some point if they're not already.
Thoughts on that
Because
with Edgar Wright doing it? What's your thoughts on that? You have high hopes?
is that so? That is happening. It's actually
Yes.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
But he's
Okay.
because it's based off the Stephen King work. So
Right.
the
Okay.
last thing I heard from Edgar, and then obviously give your thoughts when I'm done, uh, was that it's based off the Stephen King work. It's not a remake of
hmm
the
hmm
Arnold cheesy classic movie. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Like the problem is it
Yeah.
could be right. Edgar Wright's a very good filmmaker, and I have no doubt it will be a very good film,
Right.
unless there's studio meddling. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, but that film's going to come with a lot of. Well, no, do you know what? It's going to come with a lot of baggage from a very niche group of people because it's not like the most famous film.
Right.
Um,
It's a
you could
cult
definitely
classic.
very much so. It could
Yeah.
definitely pass you by easily. So maybe that is a good one to redevelop. I think it will be suitably different. I couldn't see them remaking it in the
You think
same way anyway.
you think
You
it'd be
know,
more of like a serious, dark
but
version, like not
I'm trying to think because Edgar.
Sub Zero now. You are
Because
plain Zero. I don't think we're gonna
well,
get any of that.
no, I don't think so. But like, what was Edgar Wright's last film? Was the
Baby Driver?
Baby Driver, which
Yeah.
was by all accounts a serious film.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah.
it's not like he has to have super comedy running through everything. So maybe
Right.
You know what?
Fingers crossed.
I trust Edgar Wright to deliver a entertaining film. Yeah,
Nice, nice. Chat over here, they're like, Lady Danish is like, holy shit, man, Running Man, I need that. Fury Fat Dude says, awesome posters. Yeah, that chat's enjoying what they're looking at here. But yeah, let's
awesome.
keep it going. I'm having fun talking. We're talking movies too. That's right up my
Yeah,
alley.
man.
Movie channel.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
that is very much something that my spare time is comics and movies and video games. I'm a teenager grown up still.
nice.
Like I'm lucky that I
It's
work within that world because it
yeah.
excites me.
It's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it is. It is fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's keep it going here. Now here we go. Some James Cameron badassness
Hmm.
here. Aliens, really look at that. Look at the silhouette, man. It just works,
Yeah, I
And
mean, Aliens is up there in the top for me.
oh
You're
yeah,
basically going through all my favorite films right now.
nice, perfect.
Yeah,
Which are my
yeah, yeah.
favorite films, also. But the Terminator 2 one over there, with them shooting the
So,
T-1000 is just
can you
brilliant.
see John Connor in that? Because he's in
Um,
there.
oh
He's
no
hidden.
way.
Yeah, he's right. He's above Arnold, hidden. He's very dark. You can't really see it.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah. So in person, it's much clearer, but he's sort of crouched up there in an air duct. Um,
Oh, how cool is
which
that? No, I didn't
which
notice
is
that.
which is
That's awesome.
probably it's not like completely. I mean, the scene itself's not movie accurate, but this was one where it's like I want to do that moment, and I want everyone to be there.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's close enough, you know.
Yeah, it's close enough, but still great work. Love those.
Thanks.
Got a 27 by 40 aliens poster over here, up here behind me, right here, no, right over here. Sorry,
Yeah, I
here.
mean
Aliens
that's
shelf versus Predator shelf. We got over here. I can't
hey,
help
do
it.
you know what? Aliens and Predator, those are two franchises I wish they would just sort of stop mucking around with them.
They
But
they need
you know,
they need to rescue them.
the last 10 years have been disappointing all round.
Yeah.
And they're both quite important franchises. Like I don't mean that in a really sort of like they're important to the world way, but they're important in terms of the history of that sort of film. Like
Yes.
they did a lot of important stuff in that way. Like the original Predator, Alien, and Aliens
Yeah.
are they did a lot of stuff really well, kind of for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a real shame that they just sort of, the last Predator film was awful,
Oh.
and I
Oh.
thought the last Alien film was weird, just weird,
Yeah.
like a poor film,
Yeah.
especially coming from Ridley Scott. I was just really surprised at that.
I think I
Um,
smell studio interference in that as well. That
Probably,
feels
yeah. I
like
think
it.
the whole going back to the it's called Alien and it's
Yeah.
just the Alien, whereas Prometheus I thought was a an interesting film.
Right.
It worked as a film, let's say that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Is like even
Yeah,
if you didn't, even people I've heard people that even those that didn't like Prometheus, they still were curious to see the next chapter because there
exactly.
was
So
something about Prometheus that were like, okay, this
yeah,
is like a different world. Let's see where this goes. This
yeah,
isn't what I wanted, but let's see where it goes. And then Alien
yeah.
Covenant kind of ruined all that. So,
Well,
in
it's
my opinion, that's just me.
yeah, no, it did. I mean, it's one of those weird things where, like, as an artist, I can even look at it and say that it changed all the way down to things like the cinematography. So,
Right.
right, all the Aliens films up to Resurrection or whatever, I sort of think of them as this sort of black, grey, and green, if you will.
Right.
Prometheus comes along and it's very much a blue film, okay?
Yes.
And then they go back to Alien Covenant and it's back to this sort of green and brown color. And it's just sort of like they gave up on everything that they'd come up with for Prometheus and went, no, we didn't make enough money on that. Do everything, including the color grading and art direction, to go back to Aliens. It's
Yeah.
just a shame, man. Just a real
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, it is. I'm totally on board with what you're saying right now. But
Yeah.
have you heard the news though that they're trying to buy the rights back from Disney for Predator? They're trying to get the rights back. They're gonna fail
Yeah.
because it's
Okay.
Disney.
Aren't they
But
already making another Predator film?
yeah, they're already
Come
making
on.
another one, and I'm not
Yeah.
pleased with the plot synopsis. I'm like, oh boy. But
Oh, it's like the ancient world or something like that.
it seems like it's the first movie all over again, but just different setting. So I was just
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
oh boy. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah, hopefully they get the rights and they
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
rescue the franchise. Because in my opinion, The Predator and Alien Covenant, both of these movies, both ruined the lore and like the mythos and the lore and what made both of those franchises special. Both of those last movies ruined that. They ruined that
Mm,
for me. You know,
yeah.
but but
They
they
just
can't replace the classics that we love, right?
no, no, no.
Predator poster right here, son. Alien
I
poster
mean,
over there.
this is the thing. Whenever stuff gets rebooted or
Yeah,
redone, or there's another film, and people say, "Oh, it ruined it for me. It ruined the original." It's like it didn't really. Like
yeah.
you can ignore this stuff, you know.
Right. And chat just reminded me right now that they're still making that Alien TV series.
Okay,
Let's see if
cool.
that's hopefully that's interesting and actually
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I'll
But
watch it.
let's keep it going here with the badassity. RoboCop, son, represent. Love RoboCop.
Yeah,
The first movie is probably one of my favorite films of all time.
great
Love
film.
the
Yeah.
satire, love the violence, love the technology, love Peter Weller in the role, love the Basil Polidaris score. It's
Mm.
iconic. And I love how you actually did you actually gave some love to RoboCop 2 there.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those ones where I actually the idea of doing the poster came before my love of the film. So
Okay.
so Robocop 2 is, it's not as good as the first one, but it's still it's
Yeah,
pretty fun, you
it's
know.
entertaining. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So but this was one where I was like, okay, I did that really cool one where they're sort of facing off uh side by side for the first film.
Yeah.
So could we do that for the second one? And unfortunately, I can't remember the robot's name in the second one, the villain. But it's a little less iconic looking. It's a little bit more clunky. It's not
Right.
quite as it's not quite as cool as is it Ed 209 in the first one? I think it is.
Yes. It
Yeah,
will.
it's not quite as cool as that one. But I did it because I think they look cool as a
Yeah.
pair, if
I
you will.
I like both. I like both of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Star Wars here. Now, I
yeah,
know we got a lot of Star Wars fans, and I love this Empire Strikes Back uh, artwork you got
yeah.
going on the right here. And, say what you want about the Disney Star Wars trilogy, which I have ranted a lot about that, but we're not here to talk about it. I still admit, though, that The Force Awakens is still the best of the three.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I actually love that shot of Finn and Kylo Ren. I actually love that. Like just the silhouette, the dark, the colors of just them
Yeah,
lightsabers
yeah,
at night in the woods. That's it.
yeah. I mean, well, so that was that Force Awakens one. That's it's actually one of 12 that I did for that whole trilogy, that new trilogy.
Yeah.
So for each of the new films, I did 4 posters that were given away as like promo at AMC theaters.
Oh
And
wow. Okay. Cool.
yeah, so that's probably like the largest project I've worked on worldwide because it was also in Europe as well. Um, and I think that got me out to quite a lot of people. So, I was really lucky to get that job specifically doing the new
Nice.
trilogy films. Um,
Nice.
so there's so yeah,
I've seen some of the other work for the other movies. Those are beautiful too.
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably like the one of the projects I'm most proud of. And I've done other
Nice.
Star Wars pieces outside of that. I've probably done like 30 pieces now.
Yeah.
But the Force Awakens one's quite funny there, specifically that one, because it's not quite scene accurate in that Kylo Ren has his mask and hood up, whereas he does not have it in that scene
Right.
at all.
Right.
And that's because I was basing it off of I had to do the posters like 4 months before the film came out. So I
Gotcha.
didn't know. And
Eh,
I
it
think
still
also
works.
this. Oh yeah, but I think the studio as well were sort of like they wanted that mystery around Kylo Ren as well.
Oh, so
Um,
it really worked out then. Awesome.
yeah, and of course we all know now that actually in that moment Finn gets his ass kicked pretty quickly as well.
Yeah.
Like at
You
the
know
time
what?
we didn't know that.
You know what though? To be honest, that fight's the best lightsaber fight in that trilogy. You know
Do you reckon?
why? You know why? There's suspense. There's stakes. There's
Yeah.
tension because he was out of his realm. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
But he still tried to
I
fight back.
yeah, man, and I love that. I thought that whole ending all round was really good because it did. it did what that film needed to do, is what it introduced you to new characters that I liked all the new characters,
Yeah.
and it was like the ending as well. It was like, where the hell are they going to go from this? Because even though you had the whole stupid, basically a Death Star again, um,
Right.
that was stupid. But apart from that, like there was a lot of mythos that they were starting
Yeah.
to build, but
Yeah.
they kind
Yeah.
of
It was like, hey, you
yeah
remember Star Wars? You remember what you liked about Star Wars? Come on
yeah,
back. That's what the first movie was.
exactly,
It
yeah.
was entertaining.
Yeah. We don't
Um,
need to get into the other films. It's fine.
no, we can leave that.
There's a
But
lot to
you're,
say.
but your art. But if you're fans of the art, those films, buy his merch for that because the posters for the next two movies are really good too. And he did. I love the one you did with Rogue One where you had Donnie Yen's character in the middle
Yeah.
there. That was great too.
Do you know what? That's
Um,
probably my favorite out of the new
it
films.
is.
Because it's so
It's the
unique.
best.
It's so different. It's
Yeah.
like it feels like a war film or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I just
Stakes.
yeah. Even
Like.
though you kind of know where it's going,
Yeah.
because it's obviously like set in that weird mid period, but it was
Right.
just beautifully done. And again, like if you come down to it, I know there was a lot of studio meddling in that one as well. And again, then with the Han Solo film, it's a real
Right.
shame, man. Like I
Yeah.
think it's weird because when it comes to Marvel stuff, they've got such a clear vision and it works
Right.
beautifully.
Right.
And then you got a property like Star Wars, and the vision seems to be like just let's do anything and people will buy it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
so
Right.
weird, man.
You got I Love Food over here saying, "Oh my God, I just saw the Ghostbusters poster. Take my money." Kevin Lambert says that's one of the best Force Awakens posters he's ever seen. Oh, here's a good question. Actually, this is from Briscoe here, but I have to ask this question as well. Is there any Lone Wolf and Cub posters?
No, not currently.
Maybe
Um,
in the future.
yeah, like that is something that do you know what? That's that sort of realm of samurai film essentially, like, is not something I've ever really explored, and yet it is
Right.
something that I really enjoy
Right.
as a viewer.
Nice.
Um, I'm trying to think.
I
Was
can
it
help you. I
Blade?
can help you out with that. I can send you some recommendations to start with.
Well, most recently I watched. I think it was Blade of the Immortal,
Oh,
um,
nice. Okay.
which I thought that was pretty good. I know it's not like the most like hidden gem or anything,
No.
but occasionally when I delve into that sort of world, I really enjoy that as well. Um,
13 Assassins. Check that one out too
yeah.
when you get
Oh,
some
I've already
time.
seen it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Great
nice,
film.
nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we can talk all day, I'm sure, about martial
oh
arts
yeah,
films and samurai movies.
yeah,
That's my
man.
shit
Yeah,
right there. They're asking, have you done Jaws?
yeah. I did
Yeah,
actually.
I think I've seen that.
And I will have. Do you know what? I've actually got more posters, more a new edition of that will be going on my site for sale, probably maybe in a month or so, something like that.
Nice. There you go, chat.
And it's quite a big format, 24 by 36 print. We originally
Oh,
did it as quite a small one, but this is a big version, so it's really nice. Yeah.
nice, nice.
So that's coming soon. Yeah.
Here we go. Gremlins fans, alert Gremlins fans. Here you go. Really good stuff right here.
Thank you.
I enjoy these films. They're a lot of fun. So especially the second one's is hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very different film to the first one, but still good. Like.
but yeah, again, there's so much to see and take in. And to me, that's some of the best artwork out there is when you just have to take a minute. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You see a poster
think,
of a movie coming out now, you're like, "Oh, okay." You look at it for 2 seconds, you keep walking. This stuff right here, you're like absorbed in it. I
yeah.
mean, I love the spider gremlin there, and you got the
I
ones
mean,
in
the
the
Gremlins
background.
2 one. That's a good example of me trying to put as much as I can in there as possible. Because obviously that's got the most fun Gremlins
Yeah.
in it, and I've even got the electric one on the computer screen there on the right hand side.
Oh, I see it now. Nice.
Yeah.
Is
Um.
that the smart one at the top there with the glasses?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay,
And
nice.
so that's a. Although I prefer the first one because it's got a lot more atmosphere. It's a little bit more moody.
Yeah, a little
And
darker too.
that's also a
Yeah.
piece where I was starting to because you can probably tell the coloring's quite different on these. So
Yeah.
the first one for Gremlins, the first film it's done. It's like a digital G clay, so there's no limit on how the coloring's done,
Right.
and I can
Okay.
kind of go crazy. There's all these gradients and stuff going on. and the second one's a screen print, which means we can only use a limited amount of colors. That's why it's a bit more flat and there's
Okay.
less transparency and stuff. So I kind of
Nice.
wish I'd done the second one in the same method as the first, but they still
Oh,
make
okay.
they still make for a
No.
nice pair, I think.
Yeah. Poor little Gizmo down there hanging out. He's like, God damn
I know, man.
it.
Yeah, but then
But
he's been a badass in the second one.
yeah,
So
Rambo Gizmo, son. Got to represent
uh,
Rambo.
again, one of those moments that is just pierced in my brain from being a kid. Like
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
that's nearly every single post you've shown, apart from the newer Star Wars ones. It's about putting my love of those films on a
Nice.
piece of paper. It's
Nice.
about me reliving those memories and those moments and trying to hopefully bring that to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Bringing it to us.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park fans, check this bad
yeah,
boy out. Both of these. Oh man, the iconic. Well, everyone can admit that's the best part of the first movie. Jurassic World, I'm talking about, is
yeah,
the three-way dance or the tag team battle
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
Blue and the T Rex. I mean, that was the best part of the movie. That was just really awesome. But I love the first one, man. The original 1993 Jurassic Park poster
Yeah,
right there.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
just again iconic scenes. Like
Yeah,
this is just so good.
yeah. Always trying to just pick out that moment that I think people are gonna be drawn to.
Right.
And with the Jurassic World, it had to be that moment, really. Had to
Yeah.
be. We were talking about doing something for the second Jurassic World as well,
Okay. All right.
which is a little harder. There's not quite that big moment like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
It's because that film's quite interesting because it sort of shifts gear in the last 45 minutes to be a bit more of a sort of like haunted house with dinosaurs or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's still good. I still enjoyed that
You
film
enjoyed it?
actually. Like,
Nice.
yeah,
Cool. I'm sure your artwork for that movie is going to be really good. So I know you mentioned earlier that you did some work for some bands. Are you
yes,
still in demand to do artwork for bands to represent?
yeah, yeah. I mean, those are two of the newer ones actually. So so I started out by doing pretty much straight out of university. So we're talking 2007, 2008. I was mainly doing t-shirts for, I mean, to be honest, at the very start, I was doing t-shirts and posters for my friends that were in bands.
Right.
Um, so like I grew up in the hardcore punk metal scene in my
Yes.
local town. And like
Yes.
that's what I did. I played music.
Right.
And if I wasn't going to continue with art, I was probably going to continue playing in bands and trying to make a living
Nice.
out of that.
Nice. What'd you
So what
play?
I had bass,
All
not
right.
not
Nice.
super well, but I could do most things. Um, and I made a pretty good run of it with a couple of bands. But what happened is I went to university, and it meant I was away from all of my bandmates, and I kind of drew a line in the sand there
Right.
to focus on artwork. I returned to music later, and I still play occasionally.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
but what it meant was that nearly all of my friends from when I was younger, they stuck at it basically, and nearly I have a lot of friends in the music scene now that are producers, playing in touring bands, doing really well for themselves,
Nice. Nice.
and that meant that I had a lot of contacts to be like, hey, do you want me to do a t-shirt or a poster or something? So that was where I started out around 2007, 2008. Did that for a few years, moved more into movie posters in the latter half of
Yeah.
the last decade, but also I'm now doing like gig posters and stuff, and like the ones you showed for
Nice.
Metallica and Iron
So
Maiden.
so we're of the same. All right. Comics,
Yeah.
movies, artwork. Well, mostly your artwork, but I appreciate the art. And of
Yes.
course, metal. All right.
Yeah,
Metallica,
man.
Sun, Iron Maiden. I'm like sold.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, we're of the same peeps here, except I can't play any music. But but here you go, all you Evil Dead and Army of Darkness fans. Here you go, boom,
yeah,
woo! Look at those beauties, man. Look at that again, telling a story. Like it's real art. Hanging it up on your wall. It's not blasted in your face of all the actors and the stars that's in there. The title of the film isn't shoved in your face. This is art. Love it. Got Evil Ash in the
thank
background
you.
there, fighting
Yeah.
some deadites down there. I mean, I love this. I love these.
Army of
And
Darkness was a favorite as a kid for sure.
oh yeah, it's one of the best. It is definitely
Yeah,
one
man.
of the best.
Yeah.
Really enjoy those. But now
Thank you.
these are two of my favorites, and the Movie Dojo Army knows what's up. They know me. They know Samurai Guy. These are two of my favorites right here. When I saw these, I kind of lost it. First Blood and Die Hard. Jesus Christ. Look at these. Are you fucking kidding me? How cool these look?
I
This
mean,
is insane.
there's a theme to the work we're looking at, isn't there?
Yeah.
It
That's why
is
I put
the
them both
80s
together.
and the early 90s. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like, this is like phenomenal. Like, I would lose
Thanks,
it.
man.
I would buy this on a shirt, poster, fucking steelbook. Like, I mean, look at how iconic, John Rambo up there getting ready to hunt these guys or, teach them a lesson. Let it go.
I've got to say that the Die Hard one is probably
Oh,
one of the one pieces I'm most happy with because it's a simple idea, right?
yeah.
And just when I sort of came up with the idea, normally when I'm doing a piece, I rewatch the film or whatever it is I'm working
Nice.
on. And with this, it was like I found Die Hard quite hard to pick a moment to recreate in my style.
Yeah.
But then this moment, I was like, huh, you could do this sort of like little cut through with him showing him in the elevator. And it just all came to me like really quickly. And then I was like, yep, that's the piece. And
Yeah.
I'm just so happy with it. Because also
Yeah.
you got the guy with the ho 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 on his
Yeah.
on
Now
his
I have a
jumper and
machine
stuff.
gun. Ho,
Like
ho, ho.
those are the
Hans
things you
Gruber,
remember,
son.
you know?
Hans Gruber. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that stuff, that's like I
Yeah.
have to buy this. Like that's the stuff, man. That's the stuff right here. And
Yeah.
now for all you badass horror fans, Movie Dojo Army, and we love horror. We love horror. Icons, son. Representing
Yeah.
icons. Look at these beauties.
Yeah.
Man. Like, Jason, I love all of these guys. But I'm biased for Jason Voorhees. That's why he's in the middle, goddammit.
Well, we did these quite recently, actually. It was with the gallery called Hero Complex,
yeah.
and they're available from them. I don't actually sell them, and there's one more for Pinhead and Hellraiser as well.
Yeah, I think I might have them here when we get to it, when we get down to it there.
But we've recently been talking about doing a few more.
Nice.
So nothing done yet, but
Okay.
I'm sort of I'm thinking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, maybe Scream.
in that like profile format?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, just something with the iconic face.
Is
And
it-
of course, I've done. This is a Texas Chainsaw one I did before. Which, do you know what? This is one of my favorite pieces because whenever I show it in like a presentation or a talk that I'm doing,
Yeah.
I always use it to describe what I try to do with my work, which is take something it could be something quite horrific,
Yeah.
like this, like Leatherface,
Right.
and make it into a beautiful scene. He's just
Yeah.
off on a sunset stroll, He's not. This is just him on a regular day. He's not doing anything wrong.
He's just hanging out.
Exactly.
Going out, getting some exercise, walking.
Yeah.
Right?
So I do love that piece because it's probably one of the more beautiful / horrible things I've done.
Oh, I love
here you
that.
go. Here's some Hellraiser.
There's some
There you go.
Hellraiser for you guys. Love that. Oh man, woo. Especially him hanging out with the Cenobites, with the blood on the hook chains. Oh man, just iconic. Just really, really good stuff we got here. Really,
That was a
good
weirdly
stuff.
hard piece to draw, if I remember correctly. There's just a lot of
Which
lines
one?
and the
on the left?
Cenobites and stuff. Yeah, because all the lines had to be very particular in that, but it came together well. And the chains, a lot of chains.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. Keep it going here. Horror/horror comedy we got here. Two awesome cult classics here. One of my favorites of all time from John Carpenter's The Thing. Love that piece. Really like that piece there.
I think The Thing's possibly my favorite film of all time.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is. I changed my mind, but it's. I mean, because also Big Trouble's
like
up.
top
Big
5.
Trouble.
Like in your
Yeah,
top
and
five.
Big Trouble in Little China's up there in the top as well. Like,
Yeah,
there's
two
something
Carpenter
about
films.
Yeah, and there's something about Kurt Russell as well. Like he just sort of. I mean,
phenomenal.
also if you look at those films, there's a real different acting from him, like showing quite a bit of range. Because
Yeah.
The Thing is just such a bleak and harrowing film, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, I've actually done maybe 3 pieces for the thing now, I think.
Oh, nice.
Um,
I got to check those other ones.
yeah,
Nice.
but 'cause
Yeah,
I
the
always
thing.
come back to it. I
Yeah,
always come
the
back to
thing
it.
is phenomenal. It's one of the greatest of all
Mm.
time. It's one of the greatest of all time. But
And
yeah, from Monster
the
Squad.
sequel they made for the thing. Mm.
I know the
Bad
prequel sequel.
CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Again, studio interference.
I know.
Ruining
Yeah, yeah,
things. But yeah, Monster Squad fan, son. That's right. Wolfman's got nards.
he
That's
does.
right. Got to represent here. Yeah, great work. Now,
Thank
so
you.
for something a little different, our boy Mumford here, our brother, from the
Yeah,
movie Dojo, we've adopted you now. You're one of us. He also does video game work as well. Look at these
yeah.
pieces, man. Wow.
So
Silent
this
Hill, Tomb Raider, and my favorite. This is my boy, Kratos from God of War 3 here. So love it.
yeah, so video games are like quite an integral part of my growing up, as well as film. It's very much like 3 core pillars: comics, video games, and film. And I realized about 2 years ago I'd never really done any artwork based around video games, and no one was really hiring me for it either. Like it wasn't something I was part a world I was part of with my
Right.
artwork. Um, so I did a few pieces just off my own back, which are most of these ones you're showing.
Right.
And
Look
it
at
was just sort
these.
of me. It was just me being like, these are the games I loved as a kid. Here's my sort of love letter to them, right?
Yeah.
And actually, sort of in the last year or so, I've started doing some stuff like actually for the video game studios and
Oh,
doing stuff for
nice.
promotions and stuff.
How cool is
So
that?
it was, I think that was kind of one of those moments where it's like, if I do this, maybe people will take notice a bit.
Oh,
And that's really
they're
fun.
taking
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really cool because it was an area that I'd never really explored, sort of being able to put my spin on things.
Right.
So
But
yeah, that's
yeah,
really nice at the moment.
yeah, these are beautiful pieces. You got Metroid, Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, like really, 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 really great stuff. Like really
Thank you.
good. Gilbert says Metroid, baby. Yeah.
I mean,
If you,
Metroid's just such a wonderful game.
yeah, yeah.
All of
This is
them, pretty
just
much.
yeah, just great stuff here. And now you're talking Samurai's language here. Old boy, son, come on. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen anything awesome related to old boy in terms of advertisement. This sums it up right here. Because
Yeah.
the posters are very generic. They don't want to show a lot because they want to keep the movie a mystery. Because the movie, in a way, itself is kind of a mystery until things are
Yeah.
revealed later. But of course, the iconic hallway, fight sequence, when it was all one take,
Mm,
is just
mm.
that's the most memorable and badass part of the movie. Even though it's
Well,
not really an action film, but
no, no, not at
I
all. I think,
love this. This stuff I would buy instantly.
thank you. I think this is like Old Boy is a really interesting film because it's several different types of film in one.
Yeah.
Um, and when approaching how to do this piece, or something for Old Boy, it was very much like, I don't really know how you wrap up or sum up that film in a piece of artwork. And the one thing that it is really known for is, well, actually, there's a few things it's really known for. One
Yeah.
including the squid being eaten live or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but the hallway scene is obviously like, I think
Right.
in cinema sort of action
Yeah.
scenes,
Oh,
it
and
is
we're
an
talking
amazing
about the
moment.
original, by the way, guys. We're
Of
not talking about the
course,
Josh
yeah, yeah,
Brolin
yeah.
remake.
No, which I did watch, and that was, it was just an exercise in strangeness. I thought, like, I didn't really did not see the point at all. One of those remakes where it's like it's so close and yet not.
Yeah.
But what? Just why? But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, great piece. And we were talking about Edgar Wright earlier. Here you go. There
Yeah,
you
that was
go.
fun.
That's another great piece. I love this
That's
movie.
that's the sort of piece where it's like, okay, I know what I have to do and I know what I want to do, which is draw a lot of zombies. And when you get down to it, such a pain drawing that many figures. Like, you probably notice in most of my work, there's normally like one, maybe 2 figures.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot here.
and yeah, I mean, and also Old Boy as well, doing that many figures. I was like, I know I have to do this, but I don't want to do it.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so, and all the brickwork on the pub as well, like, it's just there's a lot of details in that piece that was so really annoying to do, but the piece
Right.
came out pretty well, so I was happy with it.
Nice. Now this looked like it was difficult to do. Was it difficult?
Yes, very much. Again,
Okay.
one where I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It had to be that central, whatever it is, this weird sort of
Yeah.
portal to hell.
Right.
Um, and do you know what? There is literally no easy way to do something like this with so many perfect curves, so many elements.
Yeah.
So it's not. I was never fully happy with this piece. Okay,
Okay.
like the central element, I was happy with how that came out, but the wall behind it, very very hard to draw something like that because it's kind of it's not. If you watch the film, I don't think it's a perfect sphere. It's sort of like a slightly flat sphere, and trying to do something with that many perfect lines,
Yeah.
curved lines,
Right.
very very hard to do.
Right.
So I think it came out pretty well,
Yeah, I think
but
it looks great. That's what I'm highlighting here.
yeah,
But I'm
it's
surprised you're kind of like, yeah, I could have did better.
well,
But
it's kind of one of those ones where it's a visual. It's like a visual illusion. Like if you look at it
gotcha.
too carefully, you'd look at stuff and go, "Okay, that doesn't really make sense necessarily from a perspective point of view."
Okay.
But it doesn't matter that much
No,
because
no.
we're all looking at it going, "I see what you're doing. Like it's fine."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure many fans of Event Horizon probably bought this piece.
I hope so. Yeah,
And a little segue here. We will be talking about Event Horizon on the channel very soon in the future. Chat, just letting you guys know.
great film.
But yeah, now you're again speaking my language here. Road Warrior son,
Yeah,
Mel Gibson. I mean, this I love this stuff. Have you done a lot of other work with a lot of vehicles?
not really.
It's
I
one of the
think
rare ones right here.
vehicles kind of fall under the category of they're a bit of a pain to draw.
Right, right,
Like
right,
because especially if it's got quite a lot of smooth curves and stuff to it.
right.
But this is a piece that was kind of important to me because I do really love that second Mad Max film.
Yes.
Um, that and weirdly Fury Road. Like I kind of think Fury Road's a bit of a perfect film, which is not something you'd expect from a film coming that long after.
Right.
But um, but yeah,
Fantastic. Fury Road is
yeah,
great. Yeah.
Fury Road,
But I
phenomenal
love
film.
how much is going on in here. Like you have an action sequence basically right here.
Yeah, I mean, I've got all the different. Again, it's always about telling that story and putting different bits in it, like with the helicopter in the background and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's all
And for
there.
all yeah, it's I love it. And for you fantasy fans out there, now we're talking
Yeah,
art.
one of my more sought after like sets that I've done. I get asked about this all the time, and it's been sold out for about 5 years.
Oh shit.
uh, yeah, yeah, but
Well, I
it's
still wanted to highlight it for chat
yeah,
and
yeah, for
the
sure.
viewers
Like
watching.
it's these are some pieces that I don't normally get to do something that's quite so expansive and
Yeah.
so the views really pulled out. And this is a good example of what I'd like to try and do sometimes, which is or how I explain my work is if you think about when you're watching a film, it's nearly always the letterbox format, right?
Right.
So what I do is I take that moment that's in letterbox and I expand it outwards, right? And
Gotcha.
that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm taking those moments and sort of just making it bigger and more expansive and perhaps looking at it in the vertical as opposed to the horizontal like you normally would.
Yeah. And if you look closely at the very top of the two towers, you got the the tree
Oh yeah, yeah.
the tree warriors like doing their
Yeah,
thing
I
at the
mean,
top there. It's
there's
great.
there's there's lots of stuff in these pieces, like little hidden bits. You got in the Fellowship one, you've got the what's it, the Bullrog. He's down in the right hand corner. You wouldn't see
Oh
him if you're
shit.
not looking for him. Yeah,
Oh, how cool is that? I love it. I love
yeah,
this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff kind of reminded me of when my love for the type of poster artwork that my wife got me into was literally, believe it or not, the Two Towers. So when the Two Towers
okay,
poster came out, if you look at all three traditional Lord of the Rings posters, they're traditional. They got all the stars on there. They're in poses. You want to sell the movie, right? But there's alternate poster versions of it
mm,
where if you look at the Two Towers, it's got everybody on there, right? Frodo, everybody. But then there's another poster that came out that just shows the two towers, and that's it.
Right.
It's just the two
Which I
towers, the
which I
army
bet's really
below.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and she, and my wife was like, "No, no, that's the one." She's like, and I was like, "Really?" But this has all our favorites on the cover, right? And I kept looking at it. I was like, "Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
now. I get it now." And your work reminds me of that.
Awesome.
Experiencing,
That's good.
that.
That's good.
Uh, but again, the reason why we love movies and we watch movies is for movies like this. Boom,
Indiana Jones, always a classic.
classic.
But do you know what? I have sort of a kind of hard story with that one.
Okay.
It took ages to get that piece approved. Like must have been a good
Oh,
6 months or so.
oh wow.
Just because they're very protective about Indiana Jones, I think, as a property. Um,
Oh, okay.
I guess because there's not a lot for it. I guess there's only the few films, really, isn't there? Um, but it just took forever to do it. So, and
Did
by the
they?
time it finally came out, I was like, I've moved on to lots of other things now. Um,
were they like, no, don't do that. We don't like that. Change that. Is that why?
it had to be very very particular to the film. Like there wasn't much room for interpretation, if you will.
Got you. Got
So,
you.
which it's totally fine. I do get that, but I do think sometimes, um, much in the way studios interfere with filmmaking, they can sort of taper um, the sort of interesting things you could do with it. But people got to do what they got to do
Yeah.
sometimes.
I
Yeah.
still think it looks. I think it looks beautiful. I
Oh
still think
yeah,
it looks
no,
really,
no,
really good.
I'm really happy with. I'm happy with how the piece came out in the end. It was a long road to get it finished.
Yeah. But you did it.
But
You
that happens.
completed
It
it.
happened. We did it. We did
You
it. Yeah,
fought the good fight.
yeah.
And now I saved the best for last for me personally.
Yeah. Okay.
I've saved the best for last. I saw this piece and I was like, "Oh God. All right. I have to try to find a way to get this somehow." Now, your artwork is so good. I guarantee you this favorite piece of yours will probably change tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
probably find something else. No, this is my new favorite piece now. But Movie Dojo Army knows what's up. They know what Samurai likes. And I saw this and I was like, dear God,
Oh, the Warriors.
this
Yeah.
is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I saw the Warriors print here and I was just like, this is my guy. This Dan Mumford is my guy. I got to support this guy. I got to reach out to him, see if he can come on the show and talk about his amazing artwork. This stuff right here really stands out to me. Not just because it's one of my favorite movies ever,
Mm.
but just look at it. Again, telling a story. Setting up
Yeah.
an iconic scene at the end of the movie. This stuff, they don't have all the actors' faces forced in your face or the Warriors
No.
logo forced. So
I mean,
right here something's about to go down. There's
this
going to be a fight. There's going to
this
be a
is one of those.
climax.
Yeah,
I love it.
and this is one of those films where I knew I wanted to do something for it, and I rewatched the film, and I'm going through it, and by the end of it, I'm sort of like, I don't know what to do because there's so many. You've got all the different gangs, right? And most of them are only in it for a few minutes, really. But they are kind of what makes the film for me. The different gangs, the different sort of weird characters.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, but I can't put all of that in one piece. It doesn't work. And again, I'm trying to do something that is that moment. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the end of the film. You got the car there with, I can't remember what the gang's called, actually, the bad guys. What are they called?
The High
I don't know.
Rollers. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though even though
Anyway,
it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I never
Samurai
remember.
Guy
Yeah.
is old. Samurai Guy is old, and I have a bad memory.
But
But yeah, go ahead.
that's their car. But then
Yeah.
also dotted around it, all of the graffiti is the other gang's names and their logos. So
Look
they're
at that.
there,
Awesome.
they're there, but they're not, they're not physically there, if you will. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites, and I've actually released it like 2 or 3 times now
Yeah.
in different colorways. But that's the newest one where I kind of, again, like it's a fairly gritty, not nice scene necessarily, but I've made it this like rainbow.
Yeah, it looks like kind of similar to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre print.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's just
Yeah,
beautiful. The sun's
it's a
coming
nice,
out.
a nice sunset. Yeah,
They're at
yeah,
Coney Island, you know. And
yeah, yeah,
did you
yeah.
know the actor, the leader of the gang, the antagonist of the film? Did
Yeah,
you know he ad libbed that line? Warriors come
yeah,
to
I know,
play.
I
It's
know.
just such a great story
So
hearing
great.
that. But yeah, that stuff speaks to the old samurai guy over here.
Mm,
Like
mm.
that stuff. I don't care if I have a little four by little postcard. If that's all
But
I
the
can
thing,
get of it.
but that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
these are the things that speak to me as well. It's like I'm putting out there what excites me as a consumer or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
stuff that speaks to me in a way. So that's very much what I'm putting out there to people. And you know, it's my want is for it to connect with people like yourself. So
Yes.
it's always nice to hear that I'm achieving that.
Yeah. You're well past achieving that, my friend.
Mm.
And I know we got over an hour, and that's probably all the time that we have with you. Because I know you're telling me about your
Yeah,
headphones there. I don't want it to
it's
die on you.
they'll probably go at some point soon. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to,
but you know,
but I know you're extremely busy. But thank you so much for
hey,
stopping
no worries at
by.
all, man.
And I just had to get you on here, talk about your artwork, your talent, and kind of help spread the word. It
Thank
looks
you.
like
Nice.
I'm doing my thing, but it looks like everybody else out there they already know about Dan Mumford's work because it's so good. And
Do you know what? I always really like coming on and doing these things and just talking about artwork and as you can tell, just talking about movies as well. Like
yeah,
I love film. I love the world that I work in. So it's always fun to just talk about it with someone else that feels the same
yes,
way.
and by all means, I have a feeling right now, like if these weren't an issue, then they might go out. We probably still talk for another 2 hours, about movies
Yeah,
and
man,
stuff.
I have no doubt.
I have a feeling because we have the same, I was
Yeah,
like, all right, I could talk to Dan. Dan is awesome. I could talk about movies all day. And by all means, because I know you're extremely busy, but by all means, hit me up if you ever want to come back on the show and just talk
yeah,
movies. Just
yeah.
I need a
I
break. I need a break from drawing an artwork of the Raid. The Raid movies. I don't think I'm throwing it out there. The Raid movies.
but it's you know what?
Ah,
Do you know what?
ah.
I did one for was it the first one or the second one? I did do one
Oh shit.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
it's it's a scene where he's in a prison, so it must be the second one
it's the
because that's
second
not the
one.
first
That's the
one.
second
Yeah,
one.
so there you go.
Oh
But
shit. I gotta go look for it
but
now.
but do you know what? It was a long time ago, and I could do better now. So
Okay.
I need to do something again for the raid. Yeah.
All right, nice, nice. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe some Dread,
Oh
2012
man,
Dread.
yeah,
Yeah, I would love to see
that's
that. That'd be
a
awesome
good
too.
film. Yeah.
But yeah, anytime you just I need a break from drawing or my busy schedule. Let me hit up Preston.
Yeah, man.
Preston, let's talk about Predator or let's review a
Yeah.
movie together.
Oh
By all
man, do you know
means,
what?
come
That would
back
be
anytime.
that'd be a pleasure. I would love to do that sometime.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. All right, chat in the Movie Dojo Army. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking the video. Make sure you share this video, spread the word of Dan's work. And don't forget, in the description box below, his Instagram page information is there. Make sure you follow it, as well as his website where you can purchase his awesome work. And don't forget, tomorrow, chat, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be talking about Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. We're going to review that. Is it really that bad? We're going to discuss the new series that we have on the channel. We're going to discuss it tomorrow because we're getting it. So far, me and Jesse have been talking about pulp movies like The Phantom,
Okay,
The Shadow,
interesting.
and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're kind
yeah.
of keeping tradition. Was like let's do like the pulp throwback type movies. Let's talk about
Definitely
Sky
works.
Captain
Yeah.
tomorrow. That's what we're doing tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys show up and you're there. Next week's going to be a very busy week here on the channel. We got a lot of guests. A lot of topics, a lot of fun, so make sure you guys show up there. Again, Dan, I support you. We're going to keep
Thank
spreading
you.
that word. Keep doing
Appreciate it.
what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing because
You too.
it's almost like, well, thank you. Thank you. It's almost like we love movies. They take us away to another world, right?
They do. They do.
And how awesome that you're taking those movies and you're bringing that magic to us on paper.
That's what I want to do.
And
That's what I try.
that's hard to do. Like you said, it's hard to do. And you're
Can
doing a
be.
great job. Keep it up,
Thank you.
sir. And we'll see all you badasses next time. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
And don't go anywhere, Dan.